Hey, what's up everyone? Push for Life right here, and we're about to get into the next lesson. In this lesson, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a look at how we can use the open hi-hat to modify beats and just make them a little more interesting and spice them up. So what we're going to do is we're going to program the original beat that we had in the first lesson, but what we're going to do this time is we're going to make the clip length 1 bar. So we're going to go about that like this. I'm just going to double click right in here just to create a clip. And then when you select clip right here on the push, if you see here, it says loop length. Now, I can make this as however long I want, and you'll see the length here. If I go all the way up to here, it's 16. Whoops, there we go. And as I go down, the lights vanish all the way down to 1. That's what we want to have going on here, just so we can sort of take a look at what you can do just within a 1 bar loop and how the open hi-hat can make things interesting. Okay, so the loop length is 1 bar right now. We're going to select the bass drum and program that in on beats 1 and 3. So just a quick recap. The way you count the 16ths on here is 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and. So we have the bass drum on the 1 and the 3. I'm going to take the snare drum, push that, and I'm going to program it on the 2 and the 4. Whoops, didn't go there. And let me just go back to device right here. And the hi-hat is going to be on the 8th notes, which is every other 16th note. So let me just program that in like so. And we've got the BPM set to 120, and the beat sounds like this. Oh, hold on. Like I said, this is the beat we had set up in the very first lesson. So if you haven't seen that, go back and check that out. So let's see what we can do now by opening up the hi-hats. Now the thing you have to understand, the way the hi-hat works is, on a real hi-hat, the way it works with an open hi-hat is you can only really have the hi-hat either opened or closed. You can't have an open hi-hat and a closed hi-hat at the same time, because basically you have two cymbals that are set up like this. This is how it is when it's closed, and then when you lift your foot, it opens the hi-hat up. So you only have either one or the other state. You can't have both states going on at the same time. So what we want to make sure is, whenever we program an open hi-hat, we have to make sure that the closed hi-hat, which are the lights on the push here right now, that is deselected. So the first open hi-hat we're going to try out is we're going to put an open hi-hat on the 4 and. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'm going to switch that one off so you can see it's off. Now I'm going to select the open hi-hat button right here, and I'm going to push the one I just switched off on the closed hi-hat and open it up right there. Now let's see how that sounds. See, you can already see that the whole feel of the beat has changed now just because of the one open hi-hat on the 4 and right here. Okay, I'm just going to let it play for a little bit so you get a feel for it. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So what we're going to do now, I'm just going to show you 4 variations of this in a 1 bar loop with a very, very simple backbeat pattern, the one that's going on right now. I'm going to close this one up again, so I'm going to deselect that one, go back to the closed hi-hats and reselect that one because I want that one to play now. And now I'm going to deselect the 3 and. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So remember that button right there. I'm going to select the open hi-hat, and I'm going to open the hi-hat right there, and let's see how that sounds. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. See, it's already, just by opening the hi-hat in a different place than before, the 4 and was here, that's where we opened it before, we're opening it here, it already changes the entire feel of the pattern, and it's very different than when the hi-hat is opened on the 4 and. So if I count with it, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so let's close that one. So I have to deselect that open hi-hat right there. Let me go back to the closed hi-hat, select that one again, And now I'm going to select, put an open hi-hat on the 2 and, so I have to deselect the 2 and on the closed hi-hats and select the open hi-hat right there, and let's see how that sounds. Ready? 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Again, a very different sound to the beat than the other two. And last but not least, let's deselect that one, reselect the closed hi-hat right there, and now we want the 1 and. So I'm going to deselect the 1 and open that hi-hat up right there, and let's see how that sounds. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. See, that one sounds very different as well. So you can see what we did was, let me just close that one back up. So we really just took the hi-hats on the and. So we've got the 1 and, 2 and, 3 and, 4 and. So these ones, we just started opening them up individually, and we saw that each of those has a very unique feel. What we can also do is we can open up more than one hi-hat. So let's see what a beat sounds like when we open up the 3 and the 4 and. So let's deselect those on the closed hi-hats. And let's go and open them up. Whoops. Let's see how this sounds. Ready? Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Sounds pretty cool. Okay, and now for good measure, let's just open up all of the ands. So these two are already open, so I don't need to change those. And let's deselect the 1 and the 2 and open those up too. And let's see what happens now. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. There you go. That's quite a popular sounding beat. And obviously, if you want to just the other variable you can use to change up the beat as well is the tempo. So let's just speed this up and see what it sounds like. Techno beat, and let's slow it right down. Let's bring it maybe down to 90. Okay, let's bring it back up to 120. Okay, so you can see the hi-hat pattern really has a big influence on what the beat sounds like. And now, for good measure, let's just go into the bass drum. See the bass drums on the 1 and the 3. Let's start adding up, like I showed you in the second lesson. Let's start adding, changing up the bass drum and see how that works with the open hi-hat. You can have a lot of fun by changing up the hi-hats and then changing up the bass drums, and then at one point we'll start changing up the snare drum, and you'll see just using the bass drum, the snare drums and the hi-hats, you can just make incredibly complex beats and an infinite number thereof. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. And make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll be in touch soon. So make sure to check back. See you later.